So let's get back to electricity, where we're talking now to the executive director, who is in charge at the Association of Electricity Distributors in Nigeria, Sunday. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. One of the key components of the business you engage in with the discourse is what you call the transformers. We understand there are challenges with transformers. It's one thing that Nigerians have heard often and often. The transformer has blown up. Is it load shedding, or you're adding more weight, whether legally or illegally? Whether the transformers work or not, some pay for years, they don't get these transformers. Those who get it installed says they were of low quality. Talk to us.
Okay, thank you very much. Fellow Nigerian, good morning. Let me quickly start. Allow me a few seconds to answer a question posed by one of your staff as I was coming to the studio. It's a very contentious issue, and that has to do with estimated billing. It's linked to transformer, it's linked to metering and other things. So let me quickly track that out, and we're going to the issue of transformer, why we have the challenge that we have. First of all, I want people to understand that the DISCO strategy is to meter all customers. If I meter you, I'll be able to measure what you use. And I need to correct the erroneous impression that the DISCOs make more money from estimated billing than from metered customers. The reverse is the case, because those who are on estimation, we have loads and loads of hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, who are, of course, on estimated billing and they are underbilled. And that's more than those who are overbilled. But not just that. I need to make it very clear that meters are good for the customers and meters are good for the industry as well. Then, until our customers are metered, we use what we call estimated billing methodology as provided by NEC. We're a heavily regulated industry, and we cannot deviate from that methodology. And the methodology is very simple. It is based, the formula for that methodology is actually based on the meter reading of those who are metered in the same neighborhood. And the way it is done is such that we cannot replace that methodology with bias or overbilling. We don't just sit down and just put a figure and say this is what you have to pay. Not only that, we also, of course, welcome input from our customers, complaints, and we have customer care centers and call centers all over the country. From next week, we shall be running adverts showing all the numbers that people can call in all the DISCOs. And for us in NANED, we welcome any complaint. And we take that every day. That's why I choose to answer that gentleman, because this is something that I think everybody needs to know about. Now, transformer.
With metered billings, is it not by a recharge card, scratch it, and pay as you use?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
For the meters that are installed by the DISCOs, not the old one, not the legacy ones. Yes.
The prepaid meter that we have now, we have made very good progress in terms of the ease of charging or vending. One of your senior staff this morning just told me out there that in Ikeja DISCO, he lives in Ikpaja, you know him, Ayobo Ikpaja, one of your presenters here, that he was just commenting on this morning that he went to Ikeja. They were closed, but there's a POS there standby where you can put your own card, enter your meter number, you charge it, the light is there. And we have online platform as well all over the country. Abuja DISCO does that, Benin, all other DISCOs, Ibadan, all of them. So it is now a lot easier for people with prepaid meter to charge anytime, 24/7.
So it's pay as you use?
Yes, it's pay as you use.
So it's no longer billing?
No. Those who have postpaid meters,
yes,
that is still with billing.
I'm one of I'm one of the customers on
billing.
On billing. Let's leave that conversation for another day.
Now,
yes, the transformers. What's the problem with transformers, generally speaking?
We cannot single out the issue of transformer without talking about the issue of the liquidity gap in the sector. I'm talking about the picture. And when I talk about the industry, I'm not talking about the DISCOs alone. I'm talking about the whole value chain. The generation companies need to generate electricity. They need to pay the gas suppliers. The transmission company needs to wait the power from the point of generation to the point of distribution. They need to be paid. They need to maintain the transmission grid. And of course, with the distribution company too, we need to meet all our operational expenses. We're not talking about profit. And I must confirm again today that no DISCO has, as at yet till this morning, from 2013, made any profit. This is not about profit. What we're talking about is even how to recover the cost of operation. And if you look at our current tariff, which was approved in December last year, but which took effect in February this year. And one example of that is it was approved late December. It took effect on the 1st of January. What that did was that 1st of February, leaving January 2016, that led to a huge shortfall. That was 12.8 billion naira. That alone. That cost of not starting it in January, on January 1st.
What customers ought to have paid that the DISCOs lost.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the industry lost, not the DISCO. The loss to the industry. DISCO, Transmission Company of Nigeria.
Everyone down
we are just below the value chain we collect on behalf of the whole industry. Now, as at the end of December last year, the shortfall in this sector happened to be 303.2 billion naira. If nothing changes, by the end of December this year, the shortfall will be 809.8 billion naira. That's almost 1 trillion naira. And I tell you something. Last week, the Senate, the National Assembly, in their wisdom, shut down the very fantastic program put in place by the federal government, that is the bond. And I still wonder, people need to understand that the government had to step in to create these bonds and issue promissory notes to the industry so as to cover some of the shortfalls, some, not all of it. And when we talk about bond, people need to understand that this is loan, simple language, which will be paid back. So that we recover our costs, we pay back that over time. Remember, the current tariff that we have is, they use a term, a technical term, I hope I can make it simple, sculpted. What it means is that in the first 3 years, we under-recover. That means we're still carrying on our books a heavy deficit. But that's not the only one. Two other things that we carry on our books. Number one, the business is not bankable because the CBN intervention loan, which is a loan again, people think it's an intervention. It's not a gift, it's a loan. That one is on our books. DISCOs, we are the one carrying that on our books. Not the GENCOs, not the Transmission Company of Nigeria. Those things that we carry on our books, that one, the tariff shortfall that we have to do for the next 3 years, and of course the MDA debt that's still outstanding, I know they're working on it, that's about 100 billion. All those ones put together, you approach any lender, no bank is ready to lend you money. Why? There's no way you can convince the banks that they can recover their money back. So that is why the government did that, and I'm appealing to the National Assembly.
The government
so
talk about the bonds that will be issued to alleviate some of it because there's no cash on the table for now. So you can take the bond papers to the market.
Yes. Let me now tell you the implication of the refusal of this National Assembly to allow the federal government to issue this bond. Number one, DISCO will not be able to buy transformers and, of course, meters and other capital expenditure in the industry that are required to meet their performance agreement.
You have a long list.
Number two, the generation companies, we have to remember them. They may have to shut down the turbines. And I'm happy to say that everybody watching us can confirm that power has improved all over the country, including your house and where you live. There has been an improvement in your house, your area, my area, and all over the country in the last couple of weeks. At the last count, I think we have about 4,000 generations, about 4,362 megawatts this time yesterday, which means there's progress from what the current supervising minister is doing on incremental power generation. What we need to do is now to see everything, do everything we can to support the sector, or else the GENCOs will not be able to pay the gas suppliers, so they will shut down the turbine. The transmission company will not be able to get paid for wheeling the power and maintaining the grid, they will shut down. The DISCO will not be able to pay and meet our expenses, they will shut down. So for us to prevent that,
who's the consumer whom you know where I live will perhaps have to come to you for a generator because we are likely to shut down as well. So, we thank you very much. I'm sure it's a very long conversation. I'm sure the angle of the bond is something we will spend the next few days, perhaps sometime next week, to come back to. It's a very important part. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akumi Adesina was in Nigeria about 2-3 weeks ago, and he says the FDB is interested in investing in that bond because they believe the government is doing something good. The executive arm of government is doing something good by introducing that bond. They want it to be supported, but everyone is still surprised why the Senate is opposing it. This is a conversation we'll ask the Senate as well. Thank you very much, Sunday.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time and for telling us how things, the gloom outlook if we do nothing.
Thank you.
Sunday Auditor, Executive Director, Association of Electricity Distributors. How do you mine the market for data and make money? Adebayo Joma is sitting here next after the break.